Welcome to Kotlin Fundamentals, a video course by Pact Publishing. My name is Edvin Syse and I'll be your host throughout this course. My day job is at a Norwegian hosting company where I do both back-end and front-end development. I've been working with the JVM for almost 20 years now, and a couple of years back I got interested in Kotlin because I saw its great potential, especially related to JavaFX. I'm the project lead for TornadoFX, which is a JavaFX framework for Kotlin. I also contribute to several other open source projects. If you're interested in Kotlin related information, feel free to follow me on Twitter. Let me give you a quick rundown of what you can expect from this course and what we're going to cover. We'll be covering Kotlin 1.1, which was released in March of 2017. This part of the course is divided into 5 sections. We'll start by installing IntelliJ IDEA and the Kotlin compiler. Once that is set up, we're going to create our first Hello World application. We'll be compiling and running this app both from IntelliJ and from the command line. This will give you a basic understanding of how to get started and how Kotlin fits into the Java landscape. In section number 2, we'll be covering the basic syntax and usage. You'll see how the type system works and get to know some of the types we'll be using throughout this course. We'll look at how to define classes in packages, how to implement interfaces and extend classes, how to define functions with the parameters and return types, and basically all you need to start writing very simple Kotlin applications. In the third section, we'll expand upon our limited knowledge of Kotlin objects and functions and introduce a lot of idiomatic Kotlin ways of doing things. We're going to be covering concepts you might not have heard of, like smart casts, string templates, immutability, package level functions, flow control, equality, and even some exotic concepts like objects, expressions, and companion objects. Now, many of these things might not mean anything to you right now because they just don't have any Java counterpart. And you'll see how Kotlin kind of differs from Java in a lot of ways and how these differences really make a huge impact on the way you think and write your code. In the fourth section, we'll be covering collections and streams. We'll start by looking at how to define things like map, set, and list, and how to mutate them. Then you'll see how Kotlin really favors immutability and even functional programming when working with collections. We'll look at filtering and map reduce, which are functional concepts really. And we'll be looking at how to deal with var args and even how to pass them on to other functions. Kotlin has special support for ranges, so we'll investigate those as well. And we'll be looking at looping and iterating over collections. The fifth and final section is about functional programming. Think of it as a functional programming primer. I'll give you the information you need to use functional programming in Kotlin, but we'll also look at kind of companion functions like operator overloading and infix functions. Extension functions coupled with something called lambda with receiver is going to change the way you create APIs forever. I think you'll find functional programming really intriguing and also a great help in solving problems in different ways to what you're used to. So I'm sure it's going to make you a better programmer if you haven't touched upon functional programming before. It'll be super helpful if you already know some Java, as we'll make references to Java concepts and compare Java code to Kotlin code. For most of the time we'll be working inside of IntelliJ IDEA, but we're also going to visit the command line when we talk about the Kotlin compiler. By the end of this course, you'll have all the building blocks you need to write, compile, package and run Kotlin applications. So with that promise, let's get started.